Here we have a very simple receivables worksheet that we'll use to examine some simple formulas in Excel. In column A, we see the name of the customer. In column B, we see their previous month's balance. In column C, we see the various amounts the customers have paid against their previous balance. In column D, we're going to have to figure out how much is remaining once we've deducted their payments. Then in column E, we will charge interest against the outstanding amounts. Column F shows us that the customers have bought new merchandise and owe us more money. Column G will indicate to us whether or not the customer has a credit for some merchandise they may have returned. Then in column H, we'll have to figure out their new balances. We'll begin by clicking at D3 for the first customer, and we'll start that formula with an equal sign. All formulas must begin with an equal sign. If you don't type the equal sign, Excel will not understand that you want to calculate, and it will simply display what you type as if it was text in the cell. Now I'm going to use my mouse to click on B3, the previous month's balance for that customer. I will type a hyphen to indicate subtraction, and then I will click on C3, which is where that customer's payment shows, and that gives me the formula equal B3 minus C3. I'm going to finish this formula by hitting the Tab key on my keyboard. That does two things for me. It finalizes the formula and shows me the result in the cell, and it moves me to the next cell to the right where I want to type a new formula. Again, I'll begin with an equal sign, and then I will click on D3, which is the new balance after subtracting the payment. I will type an asterisk to indicate multiplication. Our company charges 2.5% on overdue items, so I will type 0.025, 0.025, not O, but 0, and that gives me the calculation that I need to figure out how much interest will be charged against this amount. I will go ahead and just press my Enter key now. So now I know how much is remaining after the payment, and I know how much interest will be charged against this amount. I'll finally click at H3, and this is where I will figure out how much John Doe owes in his new balance. I'll type an equal sign, and I will click on the amount remaining. I'll type a plus sign because I'm going to add the interest to that. I'll type another plus sign where I will click on F3 to add new purchases, and then I will type a minus sign in case he has any credits. I'll click on G3 to obtain that number if there is a number there. Then I can click my check mark on my formula bar, which is my Enter button. That gives me a final total for John Doe. Now I'll come back here and I'll highlight these two cells. Because they have formulas right next to each other, I can copy them simultaneously down the column. I'll point at the fill handle until I see the crosshair, and then I will drag down to copy those two formulas at the same time into their respective columns. Once those numbers are in place, I will click back at H3 where I have the new balance for the first customer. I'll point at the fill handle again until I see the crosshair. Then I will drag down to the bottom row 5. Now I have all the amounts I need to know to understand what my new invoices should have that I send out to my customers. This is just a simple worksheet to give you an idea of how you use different formulas and calculations to pull your information together.